Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and UN Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. We welcome you once again to this international webinar series, and we also wish you happy Vinayaka Chaturthi or Ganesh Chaturthi and season's greetings, festive greetings and wishes to all of you. So before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to today's session. Today we have with us Ms. Deepshika Tripathi. I invite Mary Florence to unmute yourself and invite our speaker for the day.
It gives immense pleasure to invite our guest, Deepika Tripathi. She is a life coach, a counseling psychologist, soft skill trainer, international speaker, passionate preneur, humanitarian, NLP master practitioner, law of attraction practitioner, CBT practitioner, EFT and TFT practitioner, CEO and founder of Prayas, project director at Purna Pitam, training manager at GYMHA, author, counselor at Thrive Global Platform. Our area of expertise is enhancing self-esteem, motivation, confidence, emotional and spiritual healing, inner engineering, happiness, coaching, transformation and breakthrough coaching. Die-hard passionate about helping people through spread awareness about significance of emotional, mental as well as overall psychological well-being. Love to infuse happiness and sense of purpose in lives, though compassion and help enable people to live their life to the fullest. We are honored to have you, ma'am. You can take your session. The floor is yours.
Welcome you, Deepshika.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, over to you for your session.
Good evening, everyone. So I need presenter rights. I need to share my screen.
Yeah, you can share. You are a co-host now. You can go ahead.
So am I clearly audible as well visible?
Yes, please continue.
So today's session, as I have heard just now, it's holistic well-being series. And this session is all about holistic well-being. So Participants, I'm inviting you all to share your idea of holistic well-being. What is holistic well-being actually? You can share via chat box. Anyone? If you want, you can unmute yourself and just share your idea of holistic well-being.
Actually, ma'am, it's total well-being of the person. His physical, mental, psychological, social. It's total well-being from all aspects. Is holistic well-being. That's what my understanding is.
What about the rest of the participants? And just interact. I want to interact with someone new. Okay, so let's go ahead. We will keep discussion at the last and let's get started with the session. Thank you so much, Ravinderji, for inviting me. Thank you, Mary, for such a nice introduction. And let's begin with the session. So holistic well-being is basically multidimensional approach to well-being. Like few professionals claim that they can take care of your spiritual well-being. Few claim about mental well-being, and same goes with the social well-being or psychological well-being, right? But this is such an approach which takes just each and every aspect of wellness into account and look at a person as a whole, different aspects of well-being, right? And basically, in this session, we are going to focus on 8 dimensions of well-being. So let's have a look. What are these 8 dimensions? One by one each. We will be starting with physical well-being. So physical well-being is basically just getting done with your tasks of the day, whatever commitments you have for the day. And even then, some energy left out. You enjoy your task, you enjoy your day, and then just feel that yes, you are not drained, neither drained, not exhausted. You feel yourself alive, feel refreshed and recharged. If this is the case with you, then your physical well-being is well in sync. If not, then not to worry. There are certain ways which we will be just covering ahead to take care of our physical well-being. Right? And now let's move to mental well-being. So mental well-being includes a combination of how we feel and how we function. So in simplest possible terms, we can say that mental well-being is all about our feelings, the way we feel, as well our functioning, the way we function. Function in terms of we react or respond to different situations of people in our life, or whatever life throws at us, how we deal with that, what's our approach in dealing with that. And of course, it includes our cognitive skills also. So this is all about mental well-being. Now move to next. My screen is clearly visible. Hope.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much for this. Social well-being. So social well-being is crucial to human, and I would say it's the essence of being human. Like feeling connected, that feeling of connectedness or connections are something which makes us alive, right? We feel satisfied and we feel contented when we have meaningful connections. So as a human, connections are relevant, very relevant to our existence. And it's the parameters of satisfaction and contentment one have with their life with themselves. Spiritual well-being, it includes our relationship with ourselves. Social well-being has to do with our connection with others. Spiritual well-being is more about our connection with our own inner self. The way we look at ourselves within out. And most importantly, that strong faith which leads us to believe in some supreme authority, which is controlling this whole universe, and of which we are just a part, a small part. And that strong faith just gives us that strength to deal with whatever comes in life. Doesn't matter how uncertain it is, doesn't matter how adverse. Like pandemic is the best example of that kind of situation. So our spiritual wellness as well our resilience are the fundamental things which keeps us driving, which keeps us going. So we need to have them strongly within us. And emotional well-being. Emotional well-being is the ability to produce positive emotions, moods, thoughts, and feelings, and adapt when confronted with adversity and stressful situations. So emotional well-being, I would say resilience again is the foundation of emotional well-being. And the way we cope up with uncertainty, with adversity, or with any difficult situations of life is always decide the degree of our emotional well-being. And we can always work on building our resilience. There are certain ways. If you want help with that, you can go through lots of resources. There are plenty of resources available as well. It's about our flexibility, our adaptability, and the way we look at things. So it has to do with our perspective, our attitude towards situations, towards circumstances. So emotional well-being is all about our degree of resilience. Now let's move to environmental well-being. Environmental well-being is about having good health by occupying places environments that support well-being. So it has to do with all sorts of environment in terms of our family environment, our surrounding, as well nature. Whatever nature has gifted us with, we need to be grateful for that. As well, use whatever resources are available to us in a wise manner. Our environmentalists struggle a lot. They are working a lot towards promoting this sense of taking care of our environment in different ways. So we also have certain duties towards taking care of our environment, our own environment, our family environment, as well our natural environment in terms of whatever natural resources we have and how we can contribute to sustainable environment in terms of by planting trees, by taking care of Mother Earth, by using resources wisely, neither wasting nor overusing. So these are certain simple ways which we can apply to take care of our environment, right? Which will assure further our environmental health. Now let's move to occupational well-being. Occupational well-being is basically deals with work-life balance. Nowadays, working atmospheres are so much stressful that not even a single person is able to maintain that work-life balance. And especially with the intervention of technology in our lives that do so strongly, at some point, we are very much limited to take care of our work-life balance. And for this, we need to follow a certain sort of discipline, which will ensure our occupational well-being. And the first and foremost thing we can do in this regard is neither take your home at your office, just leave your home at your home. Go office, do your work, enjoy your work, and then come back home, Don't bring your office at your home. No matter how many group notifications are popping up, just give yourself a digital detox, an occupational detox when you are at home, I would say, so that you can manage well your work-life balance. It's very important, and I would say it's integral to maintain occupational well-being. And this is something which is interfering with all aspects of our well-being nowadays, especially when work from home is just prominent, and especially if you are working offline, then too messages are popping up again and again simultaneously, and you can't even sit aside and talk with your loved ones without looking at your mobile, without looking at your screen, because at some point you have this tension. Oh, what official message is that? Is there something important? But sometimes the most important thing which a person can do is to just shut down yourself even for a few minutes. That's the essence of your well-being, and that's very important for you. Otherwise, our emotional system will start hanging up. So to make sure that our systems are working well in sync with all aspects of our well-being, it's very important to shut down sometimes, consciously and cautiously. It's very important. Now let's move to financial well-being. So money matters, yes, it does matters, and it's very important for maintaining our well-being. Without financial security, no one can feel safe. No one can feel secure. So it's very important. And financial well-being, different aspects are, if you are earning well, you feel that you are earning enough. You can invest in wherever you feel like. You can spend whatever amount you want to spend. And even after doing all these stuffs, you can just enjoy your life with a sense of safety and security in your mind. If this is something which you can connect with, then I really like to congratulate you. Your financial well-being is in sync. If not, then we can always work on aspects where we need to work on, right? Now let's see how we can achieve holistic well-being. So far we have talked about what is holistic well-being, different aspects of holistic well-being, and now let's see how we can achieve this and incorporate holistic well-being in our lives. So let's see, the very first thing is get going. Get going has to do with movements. Like we need to incorporate certain amount of exercise in the form of, maybe in the form of dance, aerobics, yoga, some simple exercises, some jogging, some walking, whatever suits you. It depends on you. But what you need to make sure here is you are moving well, because it releases stress from our body, from our mind when we move. And it's entirely up to you how you choose to move and what best suits to you, what is most appropriate in your case. So you can just do it accordingly as per your choice, right? And then let's move to nutrition. Nutrition is very important. Food is something very important for our existence, for our life, and for our energy levels, right? So we need to be very much selective, I would say wisely selective and choosy when it comes to nutrition. Our food plate must be full of as many colors as possible in terms of salads, different kinds of vegetables, different kind of fruits, nuts, each and everything as per your requirement to just fulfill your nutritional requirements of the body, so that you can take care of yourself well, your physical health well, And then each and every aspect of well-being is somehow interrelated. Whether it's physical, it's nutritional, spiritual, emotional, psychological, whatever it is. And food is something very much important. So if we eat good food, we feel good. And further, we respond to different situations and people definitely in a good way if we are full enough. So it's very important to take care of our nutrition. If you are wondering what to eat, how to eat, and when to eat, then definitely experts are available. You can take specialized services of nutritionists, dietitians. They are at your service. You can just check out them and make sure your diet plan and everything is balancing and it's as per your need and requirement, right? Now already we have talked about digital detoxification and shutting down, like power of pause. When we pause, we are powerful. So it's very important to do our tasks, to fulfill our commitments, but at the same time, it's even more and more important, I would say most important, to take break, to give yourself a break, recharge, refresh, and then get back to you. So this is all about that. Hush the rush. And now let's see. Manage your thoughts. Yes. So thoughts are something really very important, and every single day a human mind processes through 12,000 to more than 60,000 thoughts altogether in a day. Can you imagine? So definitely our mind will be surprised and shocked how to manage our thoughts. But the good news is we can manage our thoughts very effectively just after a little practice and little training, so that we don't feel overwhelmed with our thoughts and emotions. And managing of thoughts effectively is the key to take care of our emotional well-being. That's very important. Now let's move to express your emotions. So in our society, due to different stigmas, different societal norms, and the way we feel and be brought up, our mindsets are like, this is not appropriate, we should not express this particular emotion in this way, or we should not react in this situation. We usually have this thing in our back of the mind running often. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to format our mindset from this thought, and we need to just get rid of this thought, like suppressing our emotions. Suppressing emotion is way more dangerous even than your imagination. You can't even imagine the way it affects you and the extent to which it can affect you at different levels of your health. It can start from simple backache, knees pain, neck pain, of those muscular cramps, but maybe it can turn into some chronic disease, and that too, like cancer, like thyroid, like hypertension, like lots of lifestyle diseases are due to stress and due to suppressing of our emotions. So we need to be extremely careful about managing our thoughts and expressing our emotions. Of course, expressing must be in the right way so that it won't hurt anyone else, and it is not just giving any harm to you yourself, and neither it's harming the next person. So we need to express our emotions in the right way. We need to channelize our emotions in a positive way, so that to keep ourselves safe and secure from adverse effects of suppressing emotion, right? Now, build connections. Already we have talked about this in social well-being. Connections are the essence of being good. And we feel supported, safe, and secure if we have healthy and meaningful connections. So connections are something very important, and the sense that if we are there for someone, we feel assured that if we will be going through some difficult time, then that person will be there for us. And this is something which gives us a great sense of safety and security. So meaningful connections are vital for human growth and development, and especially for that sense of satisfaction and content. Now let's see few simple, practically applicable tips so that without very much training, without very much reading, very much research and all that, we can incorporate well-being into our daily life. So the first thing, plan on one go. Suppose you have thought that no matter what, you will be going for a walk 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes every day. Or you will be doing meditation for 5 minutes every day. So you can start small, just pick on any single thing and be consistent with that. Rather than taking too many things all together and reaching nowhere, it's always wise to stick to a single thing and be consistent with that thing and reach somewhere so that you can track your progress. Like, yeah, last week I was there, and this week I have come so here. So this is my progress. And how can you track this? Only through your consistency, persistence, and commitment, I would say. So stick to one thing, pick up one thing, be consistent with that, right? And most important, it's not necessary that you use things you always need. We can start small, and we need to treat ourselves for those small successes. This is a very good way of boosting our dopamine levels, and this gives us great sense of happiness and satisfaction. And apart from this, what we can do, the simplest thing, it is well said by someone wise that a person is a sum total of their company. So we need to be with like-minded people. We are fitness freak. We are aware of our health and well-being. We need to be surrounded with people like that. We are not supposed to surrounded with junk food obsessed people. You're not supposed to be surrounded with those people who talk big but fail to start even small. So it's very important to be very selective, to be very choosy while picking people. Join some community, join some group where like-minded people are there. And this is something very important which keeps you going, which keeps you motivated. When you will be surrounded with like-minded people, same kind of, thought line people, then definitely they will push you forward in your journey. Either it's for well-being or success or accomplishing a certain goal, right? Now, these are few very small but very effective way which we can definitely try to apply. There's no harm, no side effect, trust me. And it's very easy and practically applicable. Optimism is a great way to change yourself as a person as well as your life. But we need to cultivate it within ourselves and in our lives, right? So this starts with you. The way we look at ourselves, the way we look at different things, different situations, and different people. We need to format that. We need to cultivate optimism and develop it, nurture it for the sake of our well-being, right? And then attitude of gratitude. Of course, gratitude is very important. Often we used to complain about this is not going well, that is not going well, I'm not having this, that person is far ahead than me. Even then, I deserve more than that person. That's not going to do any good to you. Rather, focusing on whatever we have and then targeting on what we can do better with whatever we have is definitely take you far ahead than you are right now. So cultivate optimism, attitude of gratitude rather than complaining. Focus on what we have and be thankful for that. And utilize whatever resources you have to move ahead in your life. Right? And then in this journey, in this process, don't be too harsh on yourself. Be kind towards yourself as well as towards others. And already we have talked about the importance of being consistent, being persistent. So definitely consistency has its own importance when it comes to accomplishing a certain thing. So we need to be consistent and persistent with whatever we set our mind to. Doesn't matter how small it is, but we need to be consistent with that. And shutting down ourselves, taking pause, unplug whatever you say. Take a break, take pause. Pause is something really powerful. And incorporate mindfulness. Mindfulness is a very much top topic nowadays, especially. But in India, it's from ancient times. Our rishis and munis use these techniques and tools to keep themselves calm and composed in whatever situation they're in. That's why every single second their face was, just illuminating with that calmness. So we can't be like them, but of course we can be someone better than we are right now if we incorporate two small applicable practices of mindfulness in our daily life. And the simplest one is just to sit comfortably and take a few couple of nice deep breaths. Focus on your breathing, the way it feels like when you breathe in, and simply the way it feels like when you breathe out. Both of these two feelings are entirely different. If you try it, you will notice the difference. And this is something simplest which you can do to incorporate mindfulness in your life. If you want to know more, feel free to get in touch with me for any support, any assistance. Otherwise, Google is always there. So mindfulness is very important. Whatever you are eating, whatever you are doing, whomsoever you are with, just be with them. Be in the moment rather than wandering here and there, being physically present somewhere and mentally wandering somewhere else. Try to just bring each and every aspect of yours at a single place in the simplest way. I have tried to explain mindfulness and how you can incorporate that in your daily life. Now, meditation. Meditation, already we know, and now it's not only in our country, now even Westerns are practicing this technique, which is very much of ours, very ancient technique. It gives you strength, it boosts optimism, it boosts your immune system, and ample benefits are there of meditation, needless to say. And mindfulness is just a simple type of meditation. There are few guided meditation of mindfulness, grounding techniques, which we can apply to get best possible results, right? Then relaxation. Relaxation, as we have talked about, the power of pause, and there are few relaxation techniques also, like Yoga Nidra in our ancient systems, and then few asanas are there which relaxes you very well. Deep breathing is there, meditation is there, walking is there. So it's up to you. Whatever suits you best, you can pick that thing and go with that. So this is all about relaxation. And all this will work only when you have a sense of purpose. So it's very important to have that clarity, to have your purpose in your life, some specific purpose. This is something which keeps you going, which drives you to move ahead in your life from wherever you are. This is something very special which I would love to share with you. This is map of well-being. Already we have talked about each and every aspect of well-being, how you can incorporate well-being in your daily life. And then let's have a look on map of well-being. So what it is all about.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
Please continue.
Okay, thank you so much. So make positive change easy. When you will change your attitude, you will cultivate optimism within yourself. Definitely, you will be able to make positive change. And that will come easy all along. And then be present, mindfulness, embrace stress. So stress, we used to talk about stress, but let me tell you at this very point that stress is not always a bad thing. Sometimes a little amount of stress is very much needed to perform well, to be in sync with our sense of purpose, and to constantly move ahead in our life. So you need to change the way you look at stress. Stress is not always bad, sometimes it's good also. And basically it comes in two categories, good stress, bad stress. And there are certain ways in which we can change even bad stress to good stress. And the key is your optimism, your perspective, your attitude towards looking at a certain situation, at a certain thing. And now, just building connection and take care of your emotions. And you need to be choosy with finding your connections as well. You need to be very much selective while speaking something, while using some word. So choose your words wisely. Move well. Already we have talked about the importance of movement in relieving stress, in maintaining our well-being, in ensuring our immune system is working well. It boosts our immune system, it makes us flexible, it strengthens our joints, and so much more. Ample of benefits are there of movement. And now breathe for vitality. There are different ways of breathing which you can use at your advantage. And different kinds of breathing techniques are there, like mindful breathing, deep breathing, and then guided breathing meditations are there. So you can choose any one of them, which is most appropriate in your case to get moves out of breathing. Like if we are alive, if we are living, we are breathing. But sometimes using few breathing techniques, we can get the best out of breathing also. So this is something like getting maximum out of your life, out of your breathing. So you need to know different techniques to breathe, to boost your potential, your immune system, your life, yourself, and your well-being, I would say. Now, manage your lifestyle. Lifestyle is definitely a very important thing. And after incorporating these, whatever steps we have talked about so far, definitely you will experience the change. You will notice the change within yourself as a person, around you, as well in your life. Make sure you are starting small, be consistent with that, and cultivating optimism within yourself as well around you. And diet and nutrition has its own importance. Already we have talked about it. Expressing ourselves effectively. So refrain from suppressing your emotions. That has ample of adverse effects on your health. You might have seen pain somewhere, you have observed or experienced pain in your knees, in your neck, in your back. Already I have talked about that without knowing the reason. And sometimes you need to think, oh, what happened? I can't remember anything due to which I can get this pain. But the thing is, you forget that suppressed emotion, which is the leading factor behind this. So be observant the way you feel, as well the way you manage your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. So try to manage it effectively, be optimistic, be positive in your response, in your way of managing your emotions, your expressions, and definitely you will feel degradation in the extent of pain of certain areas if you are having. And it's really therapeutic even in chronic diseases once we learn how to manage our emotions. So it's really very important. And then be in sync with your sense of purpose. Give some meaning to your life. It's very important. And be a part of something bigger than you. Work with some NGOs or be a part of some good cause for community well-being, for community health, or it could be anything for protecting environment. It gives us the sense of meaning, purpose, and it gives us that feeling of contentment and satisfaction. Once we just get out of our shell of thinking about only ourselves, being only in our own world, this world is far bigger than that. And we are just a small part of this. So we need to contribute our bit in this big part as our small contribution. And that was something which will enhance your sense of life satisfaction, and it will just enhance your sense of meaningfulness. It will give meaning to your existence, to your life. Now we have talked about Move Well. So how it helps us? It helps us in multiple ways. It strengthens our joints. It boosts our immune system. It releases our stress. It eases up. It maintains our balance. And so much more, as you can see on the screen. So we need to incorporate some amount of movement and be consistent with that in our lives, right? And then these are few things which we can incorporate to enhance our well-being. Kindness, friendliness, calmness, gratitude, trust, forgiveness. And yes, we were just talking about suppressing our emotion. So emotion of resentment is something really very toxic. And it often comes from when we fail to forgive someone. So no matter what has done something to you, but forgive them, not for themselves, for your own self, for the sake of your own well-being. Forgive them. That will help you to take care of your own well-being. And after incorporating kindness, optimism, and positive attitude in your life, you will feel yourself more calm, more composed, and you will be able to trust people even more and in a better way. It will cultivate meaningful relationships and strong your connections. Now let's see how we can manage our stress effectively to take care of our well-being. So when we feel safe, and the sense of safety comes from connections, right? From the sense of meaningfulness and from optimism. So we need to have this, all these ingredients in our lesson so that we can feel safe and strong. Strong, take care of your movements, incorporate some exercise, some physical activity, be consistent with that, take care of your diet, take care of your rest, with everything. So when you take care of all these aspects, your well-being, different aspects of your well-being will be well in sync with each other. And we have talked about the importance of breathing, and till the moment we are alive, we keep on breathing. But very few people know few important and I would say magical techniques through which you can get maximum benefits out of breathing. So there are different ways, different techniques, and as per whatever suits you, whatever you find best in your case, you can go with that and you can do that and get the maximum out of that particular breathing technique, right? Thank you so much. This was all from my side. If any questions, any doubts, or any discussion, I'm open for that. Thank you very much, Ravinder ji. Thank you very much, Mary. If participants have any question, then I'm open for questions. Then now let me stop share.
Thank you, Deepika, for very well wonderful presentation. You have very well covered all the aspects in a
Thank you
very
so
short
much.
time and not missing out anything. Participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and share your observations or queries or clarification.
Hi, ma'am. Actually, this is very new topic for me. So I learned
Really?
lot. Actually, I learned lot of things. Your PowerPoint is impact very beautiful because many things in the PowerPoint I did not know. It's more learning session for me and very informative session because I'm hearing this topic for first time. So that's nice. So all the best for your life, ma'am, and all the best for your next session. God bless you.
All the best to you all, and I would just wish one thing, and I'm just demanding this thing from you all, that incorporate these techniques in your life so that that will give me happiness, that whatever I have presented in front of you, you have taken something from that and you are applying that in your life as well, getting benefit from that. So that's something which gives me happiness. And what I thank you so much, Marie, for sharing.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Feel free to share your comments, observations, or any clarification. Then unmute yourself. Okay, if there are any queries also, you can continue to post in chat box, or you can use the feedback form to share your feedback comments so that we can get back to you in case of any. Thank you once again, Prateekshika, for joining us. And
May I leave now?
yeah, and we wish you all the success, and we wish you once again happy Ganesh Chaturthi to you and your family. And we wish you all the success for your future endeavors and look forward for more sessions in future. And we thank you once again on behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing, and also on behalf of all the participants.
Thank you so much, Ravinder ji. Thank you, Mary.
So after listening to the wonderful session, we'll move on to commemorations today. As we all know, we are commemorating daily various international, national, and regional events which are contributing to the sustainable development, and individually recognizing each and other aspects where you can see how a small aspect or a small concept is being widely celebrated across the nations, and why there is a need in the very first place is to appreciate every day, every moment of our life. That is the greatest thing we can do, appreciating every moment of the life. Every moment we need to cherish so that we can live happily and positively, constructive. There are a lot of positive things happening. Even for that matter, we are alive. Only death is only once. We die only once, but every moment we live. So we need to make every moment memorable so that we can have a lot of memory Now, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we shall continue. Yeah. So we were talking about appreciating every moment or every moment of the day, so that we are happy every moment of the day. And when we look back, we always have wonderful moments every day, every moment to cherish. And today there is also a special occasion. Today is an occasion to restart our life, to restart or start a new work, new venture. And today is also an obstacle removing day. We know Lord Ganesha, who is known as Ganadipati. So he is the one who removes all the obstacles and, paves way for the new ventures or for the new initiatives that are being taken up. So let's take the blessings of Almighty Lord Sri Ganesha on this day and start up new initiatives to change our lives to much more beautiful, to make our lives much more beautiful. So we will continue to commemorating today's commemoration. So first would be International Day for People of African Descent. This year is also, this entire decade is also dedicated for this, people for African descent. And it is observed today. This day is particularly dedicated. Otherwise, also this entire year or for 10 years, entire decade is also dedicated to this cause. So this was created by the United Nations to celebrate the diverse heritage and several contributions of people of African descent. And the African diaspora has long been recognized for its spirit and contributions to art, culture, science, and other fields. And it continues to mark a distinctive presence and positive impact in several parts of the world. On this day, we honor a vibrant culture and an international community while celebrating their values and contributions. So the International Day for People of African Descent was created only recently by United Nations and is set to be celebrated internationally for the first time this year. And this first observance comes in the midterm of the International Decade for People of African Descent, another UN initiative. And this has largely influenced the creation of this. According to the UN 2020, marked the year of significant change in the way of issues of discrimination and marginalization against people of African descent are addressed on a global scale. Over the last few decades, several efforts have been made to shed light on issues affecting African communities and people of African descent. Worldwide, as well as efforts to improve situation of many of these communities. So this today also commemorates the numerous contributions of people of African descent from art and literature to science and research. The African diaspora has been a significant positive impact. African communities in all their richness and diversities have left their mark on many parts of the world. According to UN, there are approximately 200 million people in the Americas who identify as of being African descent. In commemoration of this day, the UN hopes to further enable the pillars of the international decade for people for African descent and recognition, justice, and development as a theme for the decade. And this celebration also aims to provide an opportunity for people to learn more about African heritage and culture through film, dance, music, and art presentations organized on this day, as well as other manifestations of political and scientific contributions of the African descent. We can see as early as 1831, the abolishment movement is one of the hallmarks of our African American history and a precursor to Black liberation movements. And in 1909, NAACP is established, is one of the most significant foundations in preserving African American heritage in the US. In 1965, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. leads the civil rights movement into a pivotal historical movement for African Americans. And in 1994, Nelson Mandela wins the first post-apartheid general election in South Africa, becoming its first Black president. So the international observance aims to advance social justice and promote inclusion and human values. The principles of International Decade of People of African Descent are recognition, justice, and development. Now, diversity is one of the main characteristics of African culture. It is a rich cultural landscape which varies from one place to another. There are many cultures, tribes, languages, and traditions present throughout African nations. And in recent years, there are many estimates for this figure, notably around 13 billion people of African descent. And how do we know more about? We can visit museums which are dedicated to African history and heritage around the world. Cultural centers of African nations often organize panel talks, activities, workshops dedicated to this topic. And this would be an ideal destination during this day. And the vast repertoire of literature, art, music, and film by African artists around the world is indeed a canon of its own. Discovering an eclectic collection of stories and musings can be an exciting and rewarding experience, perfect for this day. And one of the main objectives of this day is to engage with stories from African history and lessons we can take away from them today. So this is also a significant way to understand stories of African communities. Early Africans organized the first fishing expedition 90,000 years ago and were also the first to engage in mining and developing early arithmetic as per Western context. And Mansa Musa was a 14th century Mali king who is best known today as the richest person in history. He was also known for his generous donations and patronage of the arts and sciences in African continent. And the early humans are believed to have emerged 2 million years ago in Africa. These all are based on the African content, and this may not be true, or this may not be valid also, because everyone thinks that everything starts from them, and they have their own reconstructed the histories so that they can glorify their own history. So there are certain things, but we are just referring to them. And several African empires were at their peak during the medieval period, and many of their cities became renowned hubs of education and universities, such as the Sankor Madras in Timbuktu, which had around 25,000 students at that time. So around 10th century, merchants in West Africa were familiar with checks and banking, according to one historian who mentions the use of 42,000 dinar check in Ghana around 951 AD. So these are all, subject to historical, these things. So, and why this International Day for People of African Descent? The holiday is a reminder that many communities around the world still face issues of social justice and exclusion. Despite the numerous initiatives and efforts, many of these issues are worth of attention. And like most UN initiatives, one of the main goals of this observance is to promote exchange and cooperation between different communities, honoring African communities as well as other marginalized groups in an important step towards shedding light on the social issues facing this objective. And African culture is one of the most diverse culture landscapes within the continent, from the extensive history of artistic creation to many other contributions to human civilization. African communities have always had a marking presence despite a history of exclusion and hardship. So with this, we shall conclude, this commemoration, and we will move on to our next commemoration, National Trail Mix Day. So this is about your trial mixing. We eat it without thinking about it, but trial mix keeps us happy throughout the day. We eat so because it makes us happy throughout the hour or the day, for that matter. So every year on August 31st, National Trail Mix Day honors this healthy snack created for nourishing on hikes in the greatest outdoors. So what makes trail mix so special? Not only it is nutritious combination of granola, nuts, dried fruit, and sometimes chocolate, but it also is lightweight, easy to store, provides a quick energy boost and sustainable energy. So grab a handful and let's celebrate. And what are the aspects, especially when we look at the National Trail Mix Day, when it's similar and familiar. Sometimes when we go out to enjoy and the beautiful outdoors, we want everything to be easy. We crave the taste of familiar, and nothing more familiar, at least to the Americans, than a fistful of good or trail mix while backpacking in Americans' Picture Square National Parks. So it is also a great meal on the go. While some people have love to sit down and take their time leisurely, enjoy a snack, other folks likes to eat their snacks on the run. For those people, trail mix is an ideal munch. Plus, trail mix has a longer shelf life. And enjoy the simple things in life. Make sure you hike, explore nature regularly, because you will be healthier for it. And it's an uncomplicated snack. So with this, we shall conclude this commemoration. And next commemoration for the day is Eat Outside Day. This day encourages everyone to get some fresh air and enjoy the great outdoors while enjoying a new meal too. Our earliest ancestors ate outside, so it's no wonder we love to eat in the open air as they did, whether you want luxurious fresco dining experience or a simple rusty bite surrounded by nature. There is a lot more or many things that can be done on this day. So when we look at the history, the human race has always eaten outside in the early days simply because there was no other option. But the chance to dine outside date back to medieval period, when men would fuel up with a hearty meal of bread and cheese before setting off for a hunt. In the centuries that followed, eating outside continued to be associated with hunting, when in the summer months, the gentry would feast under the large tents on the spoils of the day's hunt. So these would typically be lavish occasions, creating the banquet there might have inside, but in the open air. In the French, it was the French people who made al fresco dining an option for masses when the following the, the French Revolution 1789. The former royal parks were open to the public and people used them for socializing, bringing food to share and enjoying it together. At a similar time, pleasure gardens were created in the US. They were private spaces where a family could walk, play outdoor games, and enjoy a meal. These were replicated by Germans as their beer gardens, and in Prohibition area, they were made into tea gardens in the US. So the invention later increasingly affordably of the motor car enabled people to travel further afield to enjoy a day out in the countryside, making picnics a highly popular way to socialize and stay energized. So our enjoyment of good weather combined with good food has also proven lucrative for restaurants with alfresco dining and homes with outdoor spaces for BBQs. So as we can't always rely on the weather, we celebrate Eat Outside Day on August 31st when the weather should be at its best, and we can celebrate the history of food, socializing, and the great outdoors. See, these all are, when we look about all these, most of these events, especially which are related to culture, traditions, we see lot of similarities, it's within our culture, you can see everything we already have it is being repacked and redefined and, represented back to entire world. But we are not recognizing them. And you can see in the form of commemorations, we can see entire world is celebrating that. So it's high time that we look back to our own traditional knowledge systems and, where we can actively promote them. So with this, we shall conclude this commemoration. And before concluding, in 2000, a picnic was organized which set a world record to celebrate the first Bastille Day of the new millennium. The French organized a 600-mile-long picnic. So, you can go for a picnic and enjoy. Though picnics initially took inside, with the distinction from a dinner party being that all guests brought a dish for everyone share. And it is amazing, incredible in nature to enjoy from the local wildlife to the changing seasons. And getting fresh air is also proven to boost our energy and be beneficial for both our mental and physical health. So take a deep breath and feel that goodness in your lungs. Food is fun. Food isn't just about surviving. It's all about thriving. And food can be creative, inventive, and exciting. And making your meal memorable will mean you enjoy it even more. So with this, we shall conclude commemoration for this topic. And International Overdose Awareness Day. International Overdose Awareness Day is a stark reminder of the harm that drugs inflict on our society. It is a day to remember those who have fallen victims to overdose, as well as those who have come out of the dark hole victories with the help of loved ones, and asked whether the war on drugs have been effective. International Overdose Awareness Day also aims to reduce the stigma attached to the issue, most of which faced by families of the victims. Many who are not aware of the factors behind overdose unfairly blame victims, Some such an attitude only works to their flair. The negativities surrounding the topic, suppressing any topic to raise awareness. The first is the day, to come out and stand in solidarity in order to reduce further or future overdose deaths. So the first International Overdose Awareness Day was commemorated 20 years ago and more. It was started by Sally J. Finn, who was in St. Kilda, Melbourne at the Salvation Army. In the beginning, she gave the suggestion to her friend Peter Strecker, who worked at the Community and Health Department program in Australia. Both Finn and Strecker wanted to highlight the consequences people face when someone close to them overdoses. So resulting in either a critical state or death. Answer the objective was to attempt to reduce the apathy and stigma the general public had towards overdose victims. Since in its inception in 2001, the day has been noted by governments and official organizations, and special kits and events are prepared every year to welcome the day and achieve goals related to it. Overdose is described as taking too much of a substance, and in case the overdose is also related to drugs. Overdosing on drugs can be deliberate. Otherwise, people and overdosing on drugs can be deliberate or otherwise. People deliberately overdosing on drugs may do it due to suicidal tendencies, mental illness, or looking to achieve higher levels intoxication. On the other hand, people who overdose on drugs by mistake may do so because of incorrect measurements. Whatever the cause may be, resulting the consequences are faced by the people who are close to the victims. These effects are felt on socioeconomic levels. The prejudice and stigma surrounding the topic make it hard for the families and friends to overcome their grief. They also inevitably results in the less awareness programs. Even if one person is saved at the end of the day, it is a victory to be celebrated. In 1968 to 2019, 1 million drug overdose victims were reported, and spanning 5 decades, over a million fall victim to the drug overdose in America. That's why when we are discussing, we were talking about, drug abuse or, medical abuse, where, the medicines are not being used properly, and, they are approaching. And spanning 5 decades, over a million fall victim to the drug overdose in Americas. And the first International Overdose Awareness Day was conducted in 2001. Sally Finn and Peter Strecker initiated the first International Overdose Awareness Day in this world. And the third commemoration is the National Diatomostic Earth Day. National Diatomaceous Earth Day is celebrated as a day to introduce people to the useful product called diatomaceous. diatomaceous earth, also known as DE. It is often used in our households, yet many are unaware of this product and its benefits. Diatomaceous earth is used for filtering swimming pools, control insects in gardens, clarify sugar and syrups, etc. Believe it or not, DE is an essential part of our lives, and it's about time we recognize the important role it plays everyday tasks. This month, do something different and celebrate National Diatomaceous Earth Day. So, looking at the history, though Though DE is used in our household, many are unaware of what it is. DE is created from diatoms, microalgae with a single cell. These diatoms are crucial for our planet as they are responsible about 75% of the world's oxygen. And there is more to its uses. After they die, they fall into the bottom of water, and all that is left in their opal skeletons known as frustules. These frustules go on to form DE, and DE is found in sedimentary rock formation that can crumble easily into the white or off-white powder. So while DE is formed today and can be found in various countries, including the United States, Chile, Peru, and China, it is known to have existed for centuries, and it was used by people in ancient times, and they used DE without really identifying what it was or how it originated in prehistoric times. And diatomite was used in the Ice Age cave paintings in France. So the real discovery was made in 1836 in Germany when Peter Caston discovered it, and when he was sinking a well, and he studied DE and noticed that it could absorb, filtrate, polish, and stabilize. And in its properties, he found the product that many industries would soon invest millions to retrieve. Owing to the importance of DE, EP Minerals, a leading company in diatomaceous earth, declared August 31st National DE Day in 2016. So is DE good for plants? Yes, it is non-toxic and can be used as control pest in the garden so that it is safe for all the human and animal beings as well as the plants. And DE can be, mixed with feed to feed animals, and DE does not harm earthworms, and though its role is not clear as a helpful mineral, but DE appears to be an important for bone health. And DE can be used as a clarifier for wine and beer. And the largest deposit of DE is in northern Santa Barbara country, California. And DE is non-toxic to fish and aquatic invertebrates. And this day spreads awareness and information about diatomaceous earth and how it can be used in the household. Because of this, we know how important and safe DE is. We may buy so many chemical-based products from stores for daily use, but why should not we release so many chemicals in the air and waste plastic when they have, DE? And are you one of those people who are petrified of bugs? If yes, you love this day because it provides information on how DE can help you get rid of these creepy crawlies. So due to shortage of time, we will take it on any other day if you still have any clarification on this, commemoration. And the next commemoration would be National Zoo Awareness Day. We all love zoos and wildlife as much as, uh, we all do. So zoos are perfect places to bond over a shared love for animals. Contrary to popular perception, they are not just places for kids and families. We know we have been to many a zoo with friends or even a date, even on a date. Being around animals elevates any experience and it can change life perspectives altogether. National Zoo Awareness Day in the UK celebrates zoos as specific of learning, and when done, zoos can probably save the world. And we when look at the history of zoos in the Western context, zoos dates back to the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. The intent, of course, was different, but many rulers kept exotic animals to their either as gift to other rulers or vanity's sake. So there was too little or no effort in caring for the animals. Humans still lacked the requisite knowledge or will. And our millennia and our understanding of the animal kingdom evolved. We saw animal trainers and zookeepers emerge. But the general idea of animals as exotic entertainment persisted. Gradually, new knowledge and tools for caring for animals became widespread. Zoos and aquariums were born. Although at the same time, the idea of humans caring for wildlife first took root and stayed. By the 19th century, zoology became a popular field of science, and private animal collections were frowned upon, becoming less and less popular over the time. The modern zoo, as we know, it grew from the evolution of thought. Even so, not all of them are same. And there are zoos open to public, while others are purely for conservation purposes. Many private zoos run breeding programs to protect critically endangered species from extinction. Programs like take in rescued animals that can no longer survive in this world for various reasons. So as conscientious citizens, we must critically examine the zoos in our areas and check whether these benefits or programs benefit the animals and conservation, and are the animal enclosures mimicking natural habitats. National Zero Awareness Day hopes to instill fascination, love, and respect for more. So we shall conclude this topic for the day, and we will move on by concluding remarks that, you know, BBC's Planet Earth series is all kinds of inspiring. Blue Planet comes close to a second. And let's all support conservation efforts by volunteering or donating to a non-profit zoo. And most of them depend on the funding of agriculture. Now the next commemoration would be World Distance Learning Day. It is a day to embrace learning that takes place outside of the physical classroom, whether it is a remote learning program that is delivered entirely at a distance or a hybrid blend in classroom, at home learning, the added flexibility and often more cost-effective option of distance learning being separated. So whether it is a remote learning program that is delivered entirely at a distance or a hybrid blend of in-classroom and at-home learning, the added flexibility and often more cost-effective option of distance learning is benefiting more students around the world than ever before. So in recent times, the internet and resulting surge of high quality of online curriculum and courses have completely transformed the traditional education methods and gave birth to the popular distance learning movement. In recent times, the internet and resulting surge of high quality online curriculum and courses have completely transformed traditional education methods and given birth to the popular distance learning environment. With that in mind, today is a day to be thankful for all the distance learning opportunities we have and the countless resources that are available for them. And the next commemoration would be Maria Montessori birthday. Today is also Maria Montessori birthday. He is a famous educational sector organizing Maria Montessori was born in August 31st, 1870, in a famous name in the education sector. Originally, having studied to be a doctor, Montessori found her passion for children and teaching and revolutionized the way educators teach children, and she developed a novel teaching method that has interpolated She developed a novel teaching method that has been incorporated into over 20,000 school curriculums across the world. Not only she did not work to improve the way kids learn, but also she is also an advocate for world peace and helping the poor. Her success in the classroom quickly started attracting positive attention from all other educators, public figures, and journalists. In 1909, before she turned 30, she held for her first teacher training course in her method. Her excellent reputation got spread across the world, and her work on pedagogy, the study of teaching and learning, quickly became favored globally. So only 2 years later, in 1911, her teaching method was officially incorporated into school curriculums across her native Italy and Switzerland. Montessori schools and societies were often so with this, she was an advocate for peace and helped impoverish children and worked with the UNESCO, that is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization for Lifelong Learning, a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting education globally to work towards peace and security. She was also a representative for Italy at various UNESCO conferences. So with this, we shall conclude this event commemoration, and then we will move on to Natural Matchmaker Day. National Matchmaker Day. The world and us feeds on a steady diet of love and romance, and this Matchmaker Day, we are honoring all those who bring people together, held annually on August 31. This day raises toast to the people who create happy endings for others, whether they are responsibly, personally setting up to people up, arranging a match on behalf of maybe so. In this commemoration, whether we are personally setting two people up, arranging a match on behalf of the family, or coaching clients as part of their professional services, we celebrate every kind of matchmaker on this day. So matchmakers have existed probably since the dawn of time. The early matchmakers were parents and elders, often women, who stepped in to ensure while young people choose the right life partner. This decision was not left up to the young people themselves, as it was recognized complicated, had a decision for young people to handle themselves. This tradition prevailed in almost so this uh, you know matchmaking can be found on internet or any other sources. and we have come to our last commemoration. Though we started by extending our gratitude to the Almighty, and this last commemoration is also today being Ganesh Chaturthi Day. Ganesh Chaturthi or Vinayak Chaturthi is a 10-day festival in general called Navaratri. Some people also celebrate it for longer time, maybe 13, 15 days also. It's okay, as the speaker wished, or as the feasibility or resources available with the organizers. So it can be celebrated as much as up to 15 days. So the day usually falls in the Gregorian months of August or September, that is, and is observed with prayer, public and private display of Ganesha idols, and chanting of Vedic hymns and fasting. On the final day of festival, the idol of Ganesha is carried in a public position and plunged into a nearby body of water. So when the clay dissolves, it is believed that Ganesha returns to Shiva. Ganesh Chaturthi is celebrated across India as well as Hindu diaspora countries like Nepal. So when we look back to history, even in this area is also lot of, uh, when we see the history, there are many, which can be stories for that matter, not a story, but as a stories, there are a lot of stories. But let's quickly look into two stories. The first is that he was born with the goddess Parvati, was taking her bath. Ganesha, a child at that time, was asked by Shiva to guard the door while his partner Parvati finished her bath. So when Shiva returned later, Ganesh denied him access to his home, enraging Shiva and causing him to chop off Ganesha's head. Distressed and heartbroken by this incident, Parvati demanded that a new head to be found for Ganesha, and all that was managed to be found was an elephant head, which was then placed on the body of Ganesha. And the second version is less popular, telling that Ganesha was conscious creation of Shiva and Parvati upon command from greater heavenly entities. Ganesha's purpose was to block the path of demonic entities and remove obstacles. So it is widely believed that the Ganesh Chaturthi was first celebrated for the first time when the Satavahana, Rashtra, Kuta, and the Chalukya dynasties ruled between 271 BC and 1190 AD. Though these are referential, but it is being celebrated since a very long. And the founder of Maratha Empire, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, celebrated Ganesh Chaturthi zealously in 1600s. That boosted this celebration. And in 1893, freedom fighter Bal Gangadhar Tilak arranges a grand public celebration of Ganesh Utsav to unite Indians against the British, as it's everyone's festival. And this festival also gives us the positive energy to maximize on his blessings, and also maintain health and hygiene by cleaning our house thoroughly, decorating it and creating the aura of good energy, and getting an idol of Ganesha and having it placed in our homes before the festivities begins. And these idols were worshipped and later immersed in the water. So seek the pleasure of Lord Ganesh during the festival days, worship with great. So we can see that Lord Ganesha is not just celebrated by Hindus, but also Muslims, Christians, and even not only just in India, but also in China, Cambodia, Thailand, Nepal, China, different subtle forms, and it is also considered unlucky to significant to sight the moon during the festival of Ganesh Chaturthi. So with this, it's an important religious festival, welcoming arrival and hosting of grand celebrations for 10 days. And the Ganesh Chaturthi is all about seeking blessings from the God Lord Ganesh and taking inventory of all the good and bad things in our lifestyle and creating a balance for the next year. So yeah, signifies new beginnings and so with this we shall conclude due to paucity of time, and we wish you all the success and happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you once again. So thank you everyone. So kindly find the feedback form link in the chat box and quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the webinar. We wish you all the success and see you all tomorrow at the same time. Feedback form link has been shared in chat box. Quickly fill up the feedback form. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form. It is shared in the chat box. After filling it up, you may leave the webinar. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form. After filling it up, you may leave the webinar. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.